Today we're going to look at God values the life of all races. So if you want to turn to your Bibles with me in Acts chapter 10, verses 34 and 35, we're going to go ahead and take a look at that. Then Peter began to speak. I now realize how true it is that God does not show favoritism, but accepts from every nation the one who fears him and does what is right. Now to break that verse down a little bit, we look at verse 35, the word nations. Now that Greek word is ethnos. So in the Greek, that word ethnos means a people group. And Paul usually uses this, even though Paul didn't write Acts. Paul usually uses ethnos when referring to the Gentiles or people other than Jews. So people that are Gentiles are people who are not Jews. So literally everybody else in the world, every other people group. We see Peter here in verse 35 saying, God accepts from every nation the ones who fears him and does what is right. This kind of goes back to tie in what we talked about on Tuesday, where we saw that God desires all people to come to a saving knowledge of him and of what Jesus did on the cross for us. We see that God values the life of people from every nation. We see in verse 34 that God does not show favoritism to any particular race or any particular people, but God sees us all as human. He sees us all as his creation because we were all created in the image of God, as Matt talked about earlier this week. And we see that he desires us all to be saved, no matter what color your skin is, no matter your home life, your situation, or what country you're from. We are all human. We are all seen by God as his children, and we are all seen by God as people that he wants to come to a saving knowledge of him. And he wants us to realize what Jesus did for us on the cross. So I want you to think about that today. And I want you to think about how you can possibly use this information to change your heart and change your lives and ultimately spread and further the gospel for his will.